Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Abba Yahweh, we just come to you now, humbled, Abba Yah, giving you all praise, honor, and esteem, saying, Todah Rabah Abba, for blessing and keeping us and faithfully providing for us all that we need, Abba Yah, for putting your hedge of protection around us, for allowing your Malakim to go before us, for giving us shalom, Abba Yah, giving us comfort, and for bringing us, Abba Yah, through the week. Todah Rabah Abba, for allowing us to come together, Abba Yah, as you commanded in this platform. Todah Rabah Abba, for giving us this life. Todah Rabah Abba, for your only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, who is the perfect example that you blessed us with, Abba Yah, and who ultimately sacrificed himself, Abba Yah, that we may have a chance to be reconciled with you, Abba Yah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. We say Todah Rabah Abba, for giving ear to our petitions, our lamentations, our supplications, Abba Yah, and for answering at your will in due season, Abba Yah, and giving us understanding through it all. As we enter into your Shabbat, Abba Yah, we just want to lift your name on high. We want to give you all praise, honor, and esteem. And we just ask, Abba Yah, that you bless us with your Ruach HaKodesh, Abba Yah, that continues to feed us and continue to shape us and clean us, Abba Yah, to be vessels of your will. We just ask, Abba Yah, that you inspire Moreh Samak, who leads this lesson, this feeding us your manna, Abba Yah, that your message comes through him clear and hits the target, Abba Yah, and that you soften our hearts, Abba Yah, that your words penetrate, that we truly come back to know who we are and whose we are, and to start and continue and be strengthened and encouraged to continue in all your ways, Abba Yah. If we are in any way, Abba Yah, not pleasing to you, please show us the way. Open our eyes, Abba Yah, and our ears, that we can receive your instruction and your encouragement and your chastisement. In all things, Abba Yah, Tob and Ra, we say, Todah Rabah Abba. Blessed are you, Yahweh. Blessed is your name, Yahweh, and blessed is he that comes in your name. Hallelujah, Todah Rabah Abba. Amen.
Hallelujah, 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 amen, amen. All right, Mishpachah, once again, I'm going to say Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. All praise, honor, esteem be to the Most High Yah. Before we get ready to go in, I open the floor for a few praise reports and testimonies. If anyone has any, I see Ima Audrey, you already have your hand up, so I'm opening the floor to you first, Ima. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. First of all, I'd like to say Todah Rabah to Abba Yah for blessing us and keeping us, for protecting us and keeping us safe from hurt, harm, and danger, seen and unseen. And I thank him for walling us in from sin and Satan. And I thank him that I had a very productive week this week. When I was working, I had to use an organizer because I worked in a department where everything was an emergency. And you start working on one emergency, then another would arise, and then you had to determine which emergency to take care of first. So I began to prioritize things, and I would have a must-do list and a to-do list. And the things on the must-do list had to be done that day before I left work. Things on the to-do list, I could always carry them forward. So when I retired, I stopped using the organizer. I felt I didn't need it. But I haven't been accomplishing hardly anything. I mean, I just get up in the mornings, I do my devotions, and whatever I feel like doing, I do. If I don't feel like doing anything, I don't. And that wasn't good. So I started back using the organizer, and I accomplished so much this week. And I just thank Yah for that, because I was using it one time before and I stopped using it, but I had to get back on track because I don't want to just waste my time and not do anything that's productive or what have you, because I don't think Yah put us on this earth to be non-productive. But I just thank him for allowing me to be productive this week and to get a few things accomplished.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. All praise, honor, esteem be to the Most High Yah. Barak is Kodash name. Adon Shah Shamar, the floor is yours, Aki.
Shabbat Shalom, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Kenny, I want to give just praise to the Most High, for life, and strength, to continue in the walk. I also want to thank him, for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Because I was thinking about something this week, and I was thinking about, the question, why do we worship the Most High? Why do we love the Most High? And I was thinking about that, and I can give, numerous reasons of why we should. But I was thinking about, how would I answer that if somebody, asked me that? And I thought about, a perfect area to start would be, the forgiveness of the Most High. Because I was thinking about, people on the earth, they do, a lot of wicked things to each other, the violence, the things that they say out their mouths, the grotesque things, so a lot of things they do to each other. And then I was thinking about, in Meditayu, commonly called Matthew, chapter 6, where it talks about, we're supposed to forgive those who trespass against us, so the Most High can forgive, us for our trespasses against him. So we are supposed to forgive people, but, sometimes it takes a long time. Some people, it takes months or even years. Sadly, some people leave this earth without, ever forgiving the people, that wronged them, But now I was thinking about, the Most High, people say all types of things about the Most High. They profane his name, they disrespect him, provoking the wrath, causing them to be jealous. And the Most High still, forgives all those people, gives them a chance to dwell with him for eternity. So I was thinking about, that's a good reason, to worship the Most High, and if you, just think about it from, a common sense perspective, I think most people could agree that, the person that has an upright heart or the most wisdom, knowledge, understanding should be the person that, that should be in charge, and everyone should seek for answers, So I would say, Torah Rabah to the Most High for, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and also life. I yield.
Praise him, praise him, praise him. Barak is Kodash name. Brother Brian, the floor is yours, Aki.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Well, I don't ever say nothing because I pretty much just walk and do business. But I haven't told anybody, but I'm actually running for Congress. And I got stuck up in the northern area, like from Jacksonville all the way to Virginia and Outer Banks. But like the message that I've been telling at my speeches is the first to fix all these problems, you have to have faith in God. And you have to respect God. And I told them in all my speeches, if you're not going to do that, then do not vote for me. Because I use the term ruach, which you kind of corrected me on, but I didn't need you messing my ruach up. But the thing that I asked them the most before they decided to vote for me, instead of going to church, pick up the Bible and start reading it. I said, because one person had said to me before, well, I go to church. I said, well, that's like you having somebody mow your yard and paying them and saying you mowed the grass. You never weed eated, you never striped it, you never did all these things. You don't even really know what the guy's done to the yard other than you paid him to do it. And it's been getting a pretty good reaction to it. I've actually had some Christian groups trying to reach out to me, and I told them, straight up, I'm not like into the church. that I do honor the Sabbath days and the feast days. But, you know, they were pretty impressed by that when I had the conversations with them, because I told them I wasn't into the transgender gay thing neither. But it was actually kind of uplifting because they actually want to like back me a little bit on this, because they feel that those issues are, especially CRT and the transgender. And if you've seen the disgusting stuff that they were putting in schools, people's opinions would be a lot different. When I went up to Lenore County, they showed videos up there of the garbage in school. And I'm going to get a copy of them. I'm going to let you guys see what they are. You are going to just shake your head and just pray. That's how bad it is. You know that they can actually give your children gender transforming things in school, and they don't have to tell you. That's pretty scary, you know? So if you actually read the questionnaires, you'd just be shaking your head. But all in all, I've got a good response, and, you know, and I feel the spirit when I'm talking. So that makes a big difference. Hey, you.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. All praise, honor, esteem to the Most High. And yeah, like I said, I see you spoke very well. You know, praise the Most High, because I did see you speaking. You spoke very well. And like I said, I know we do use terms, but like Paul said, be all things to all people. So like certain terms they wouldn't comprehend, like when you said it messed my ruach up, you know, with them, just use spirit. But yeah, other than that, you was dead on it. And I mean, you put it out there, and I listened to the response, because there are many people that are actually tired of certain things. So I did hear a response that they were in agreement with what you were saying and your stance, and you was up there with the Bible in your hand. So all praise be to the Most High for you getting on the front lines and making a stand, and out there even in the political realm of trying to proclaim the Most High's name and his way and standing boldly on it. So hallelujah, hallelujah. Thank you for speaking up tonight. You know, I knew what you were doing behind the scenes, but you never shared it, so I didn't share it. But praise the Most High, you've now shared it, and you've been standing and trying to push for righteousness back in these school systems. So hallelujah, my brother, hallelujah. All right, Iman Vadia, and then we're going to get ready to go into the word. Come on, Iman, what you got?
Shabbat Shalom. I'm just happy, you know, for the Sabbath hours. And my testimony is very short and to the point. I have a new piece of equipment, and I was reading the directions, of course, you know, on how to learn how to operate it. But took 2 days, something just wasn't working right. And I kept reading the directions. I even used my finger like we teach the kids, and went word by word by word. I finally said, Father, please help me with this, because I need to finish the project I was on. And I read it again. And for 2 days, I took something that was like a 1/2 inch piece of the equipment, and I had put it in backwards. So I said, thank you. And in the process, he was, like you said, the rock was speaking. How many times have I read the Torah or any other thing in the Bible and felt like I knew what I was doing, called myself doing the right thing, and something so, what I might have considered insignificant, I was doing backwards. And I just said, Father, thank you. It just gave me a reason to use more of my resources that I have at hand in studying. You know, we're studying with the women's group, and it just made me feel like I could do so much more, so much better, but I have to pay attention to the smallest details in studying. And that all came about over this little 1/2 inch piece of equipment that I had in backwards. So I just praise the Most High for using the simplest things in our lives to point us in the right direction and following his will. Shabbat Shalom.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Iman. Thank you for sharing those words, and for how you were saying how it's pressed in your ruach to that it made you look at the Torah that way, and that's exactly how we need to approach it. Never thinking that we have it all, we know it all, and we should be always looking and trying to understand all that the Most High wants us to understand. So thank you for sharing that, Iman. I definitely heard it, and that's something we all need to work on. So thank you for sharing that. Hallelujah. All right, Mr. Bakar, we get ready to go in. All praise, honesty be to the Most High. Barak, or bless his set apart name. We'll be still focusing on some of Pesach and unleavened bread. We'll be picking up in the book of Shemot, commonly called Exodus. The book of Shemot, commonly called Exodus, chapter 13. Tonight is where we'll be starting. Shemot, or Exodus, chapter 13, starting with verse 1. Panakia. Give me a mic check, Adon, so I make sure we're live.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, loud and clear.
Shemot, Exodus chapter 13, verse 1. And Yah speaking to Moses, saying, sanctify unto me all the firstborn, whatsoever openeth the womb among the children of Israel, both of man and of beast, it is mine. And Moses said unto the people, remember this day in which you came down out from Egypt, out from the house of bondage. For by strength of hand, Yah brought you out from this place. There should be no leavened bread be eaten. This day came you out in the month of Abib. And it shall be when Yah shall bring you into the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, which he sware unto your fathers to give you, a land flowing with milk and honey, that you shall keep this service in this month. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, and in the seventh day shall be a feast to Yah. Unleavened bread shall be eaten 7 days, and there shall be no leavened bread seen with you, neither shall there be leaven seen with you in all your quarters. And he shall show your son in that day, saying, this is done because of that which Yah did unto me when I came forth out of Egypt. And it shall be for a sign unto you upon your hand, and for a memorial between your eyes, that Yah's law may be in your mouth. For with a strong hand have Yah brought you out of Egypt. You should therefore keep this ordinance in his season from year to year. And it shall be when Yah shall bring you into the land of the Canaanites, as he sware unto you and to your fathers, and shall give it you, that you should set apart unto Yah all that openeth the matrix, and every firstling that cometh from a beast that you have, all the males shall be Yah's. And every firstling of a donkey shall you redeem with a lamb. And if you would not redeem it, then shall you break its neck. And all the firstborn of man among your children shall you redeem. And it shall be when your son asketh you in time to come, saying, what is this? That you shall say unto him, by strength of hand, Yah brought us out from Egypt, from the house of bondage. And it came to pass when Pharaoh would hardly let us go, that Yah slew all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both the firstborn of man and the firstborn of beasts. Therefore I sacrifice to Yah all that open up the matrix, being males. But all the firstborn of my children I redeem. And it shall be for a token upon your hand, and for frontlets between your eyes. For by strength of hand Yah brought us forth out of Egypt. And it came to pass when Pharaoh had let the people go, that Elohim led them not through the way of the land of the Philistines, although that was near. For Elohim said, lest peradventure the people repent when they see war, and they return to Egypt. But Elohim led the people about through the way of the wilderness of the Red Sea, and the children of Israel went up harnessed out of the land of Egypt. And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for he had straitly sworn the children of Israel, saying, Elohim will surely visit you, and he shall carry up my bones away hence with you. And they took that journey from Sukkot, and encamped in Etham, in the edge of the wilderness. And Yah went before them by day in a pillar of cloud, and led them the way. and by night in a pillar of fire, to give them light, to go by day and night. He took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night from before the people.
All right, hallelujah, hallelujah, Toda Adon. All right, I'm gonna be going back through this chapter, and we're gonna do sort of what Ema said. We're gonna look at some of the things that we might not have ever really focused on in much detail tonight, and we're gonna try to focus on it tonight together. So verse 1 again says, and Yah spake unto Moses, saying, sanctify unto me all the firstborn whatsoever open in the womb among the children of Israel, both of man and of beast. It is mine. Before I go forward, what is anybody getting from knowing what's already transpired or happened in Egypt, what's going on with Passover, Pesach, and now this statement is being made, sanctify unto me all the firstborn whatsoever open in the womb among the children of Israel, both of man and of beast, it is mine. What do you get from that, Mr. McCall? Let's talk about that for a moment. So I'll take about the first three, meditate on it for a moment.
He wanted the first specific.
Okay, come over here so they can hear what you said. So I'm gonna open the floor to my bot, and then I'm gonna open it to a coat to Jen next. So you said what?
That he didn't want any of the offspring that was born. He wanted the first specifically.
Okay, so she's saying that he wanted specifically the first is what he wanted. Okay, Koti Jen, I seen your hand up. The floor is yours.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. It had something, a correlation between the fact that one of the plagues of Mitzrayim or Egypt was that he took the firstborn of all men and beasts.
All right, so it's a correlate between he killed the firstborn of beast and man in Egypt. Hallelujah. Is there anyone else before we move forward? All right, Shashamar.
Ken, I would say, there's a lot of value in the firstborn. So, you definitely want to give it to the Most High. So, and then just like Koti Jen said, Most High, he took, the firstborn of those that disobeyed him in Mitzrayim or Egypt. So, he's taking the firstborn as his own. I yield.
Okay, hallelujah. Koti Jen, is that the same hand that I didn't take down? Is that a new hand?
It is. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I forgot to mention because I was just trying to hurry up and give everyone else an opportunity to speak. But I was going to mention also it is kind of like Yah is showing, teaching Israel to be mindful of whatever increase you have, whether the fruit of your loins or anything, to always think of him and to give him the first. So it's like kind of teaching them the aspect of first fruits, if you will.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. So she said, teaching them the giver of the first fruits and how to offer unto him, how to be thankful. And that's one of the highlights that I want to build upon because, again, when I'm making statements, again, we're not trying to be offensive. We're making statements, but we're trying to be informative with the proper understanding of what Yah wants faith to look like based upon his word and not man's doctrine. Okay, so we've already covered last week, can you see salvation? And we covered that because when we were studying last week, it said, see your salvation. So we've established that salvation can be seen. He told them to prepare. He told them to see their salvation. After their salvation was seen and understood, because it was the deliverance from Mitzrayim, they're being told, Yah spake unto Moses, saying, sanctify unto me all the firstborn whatsoever open in the womb among the children of Israel, both of man and of beast. It is mine. So, currently today, we're taught that all we have to do is believe without any works or without any actions, and we shall be saved. That's partially true, but it's far from the truth. Now, how is it partially true and far from the truth? Partially true, meaning Yah does love us unconditionally, but with conditions. So before we've actually done anything right in Mitzrayim, The first thing we had to do was show faith. If Yah tells us to do this, get this lamb, have it on the 10th day of the month without spot or blemish, keep it to the 14th day of the month, put the blood on the doorpost, remain in the house. I will pass over you tonight. The first step, regardless of how we've been living prior to, is did you heed the call? Did you hear? And did you obey and walk in the faith? And did you trust in him first and foremost? Then going from that point of it now happening and you seeing what actually happened, I've done this for you because I heard your cry in Mitzrayim. I know your children were being killed and used for mortar and bricks, all types of atrocities and things that happened to you in Egypt. I heard your cry and I came through to deliver you, says the Most High. For me doing this thing, I want you to be mindful of why. I want you to understand that I did this, but in doing so, I want you to be grateful. I want you to be thankful. And I really hate to use this term, but you sort of actually owe something for it as well. I didn't just do it for nothing. As the sister was saying, it correlates between I killed these firstborn in Mitzrayim. But why did I do this? They were killing y'all children to start with. So when you have people modeling, say the Old Testament is done away with, because what type God would kill all these children and do all this type of stuff? That's a mean God. No, that is a God that said, vengeance is mine, thus saith the Most High Yah. And so your children was being killed because they was trying to keep the son from being born, so they was killing all male boys that was being born. So what I did was, vengeance is mine, says the Most High. I took care of that by taking their children from them and taking their firstborn sons of man and beast. And I want you to remember what I did for you. And in remembering what I did for you, I want you to reference me, respect me, and honor me by learning, as the sisters say, learning how to give up your first. Because I spared your lives and I took their firstborn. So he says, sanctify. If we go there for what that word for sanctify actually is, just leave one moment. Lost my space. So if we go there for the word is sanctify there, it's going to be H6942, which is Kodash. Kodash means to Kodash or Kadash, whichever dialect one is familiar with. It says to pronounce, observe, to make clean, ceremonially or morally, to appoint, to dedicate, to proclaim, to purify, to sanctify, to consecrate. So he's basically saying sanctify, or you set them apart, or you dedicate them to me. Why? Because of what I've just done for you. I spared y'all lives. I brought you from oppression. I brought you from all types of hardships. I delivered you by way of taking the firstborn of the Egyptians. But now what I want you to do is, in return, offer back unto me, not by way of putting them to death as far as children, like the actual male children, but dedicate them to me. Set them apart to me. Start your posterity of your house, your firstborn sons. They need to be being trained up and being dedicated to the Most High. Because as we read on through this chapter, you're going to see that it says, tell your children. He specifically wants us to let our children know about what he's done, about his goodness, about his greatness, about his mercy. The way a child learns to grow to love the Most High is by what a parent instills into them. By the way, a parent either love or not love the Most High. So if we are constantly giving the Most High praise for what he's done for us, if we're acknowledging and saying, I'm praising the Most High because he's the reason why we have this roof over our head. That's why I'm giving all praise to the Most High. I praise Yah for this food that we have on the table. If a parent is always esteeming the Most High and they're remembering what the Most High has done for them and they're teaching it to their children, then their children will actually grow and have a bond with the Most High. But he's here says specifically, as my bot said, specifically, he wanted the firstborn males. They are mine. They are not even yours. They don't even belong to us. They don't even belong to you. They're yours, yes. You're going to raise them, but when you raise them, you need to raise them in my name. You need to raise them dedicated unto me, in service unto me. Teach them of me. It needs to be all about me with your firstborn. Because for one, that's the beginning of your house being continued. The firstborn son is the beginning of your house being continued, because your firstborn sons, or your sons in general, were already being killed in Mitzrayim. So now I want you to offer whatsoever open in the womb among the children of Israel, both of man and of beast, it is mine. So the first of all that you have belongs to me. This is the mindset that Israel had back then, based upon what Moses was telling the people, that Yah told Moses to tell the people. So that's why, as we covered last week, when those men said, well, I was unclean during Pesach, I can't keep Pesach, I can't bring my offering, because they understood, like, I'm giving thanks. I'm giving thanks. I'm honoring the Most High. How can I give thanks to the Most High this year if I miss Pesach, I miss Passover because I was unclean? Then, and they specifically said, as we covered last week, how do I present my offering? And then they said, the 14th day of the second month, you keep it like the 14th day of the first month, and you can still bring your offering before the Most High. Why? Because they seen here that when they first came out, they were told all firstborn of beast as well as of the children of Israel, the male children, they belong to the Most High. And Moses said unto the people, remember this day in which you came out from Mitzrayim, out of Egypt, from the house of bondage, for by strength of the hand of Yah brought you out from this place. There shall no leavened bread be eaten. This day came ye out in the month Abib, and it shall be when Yah shall bring thee into the land of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Hivites, Jebusites, which he swore unto your fathers to give you a land flowing with honey, that you shall keep this service in this month. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, and in the seventh day shall be a feast to Yah. So what I want to establish here is, so after he just told them how you're to dedicate, or you're to set apart all firstborn that open in the womb among the children of Israel and to the beast, you set that aside, you set that apart to me. All of them, all firstborn males, all firstborn male beasts, you set that apart unto me. You dedicate that to me. Now, also, I want you to remember that on this day you came out of Egypt, you to remember that with unleavened bread, you will have the feast of unleavened bread. There's no leaven to be found with you. You're not to eat it. You're not to eat it for 7 days. And you must eat unleavened bread. Here's another highlight that I would like to share. Some of you have heard it before, some of you haven't. When I first started keeping unleavened bread, I did not eat the leavened bread, so I got the leavened bread out of the house, but I was missing the part of the command because, for one, I didn't know how to make unleavened bread when I started doing it on my own at first. So I didn't know how to make it, didn't really know what it was. I just knew, hey, I ain't supposed to eat bread, so I stopped eating the bread. But what I wasn't doing was actually the other part of that commandment. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. So you put away the bread with yeast, the bread that rise, but it then said you must eat unleavened bread. One reason why this is key now is because that was something I forgot to do. And when we get to the Brit Kadashah, you're going to see a significance in where we're going with this unleavened bread. And we get there tonight, most high willing. But it said you must eat unleavened bread. That's one of the parts I wasn't doing. I did, as Imam said, I had a part of it right because I stopped eating the bread, but there was a part that I was overlooking or didn't comprehend, or I understood it, said I should do it. I just wasn't doing it because I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what unleavened bread was. I didn't know how to make it. I didn't even really know where to get it from when I was just reading the word on my own, trying to do these words that the Most High commanded me to do. But it's very important that we must. So that's a part of the commandment also. Do not eat any leavened bread, but also you must eat unleavened bread. So one reason why I'm bringing this out now is because as we come upon the season, there are the what's called matzah that you can buy, the unleavened bread that you can buy in the grocery stores just to have on hand and in your house. I would try to encourage you to start getting it early, because when season comes in, and especially with the way price and everything's being raised, sometimes it is very hard to find. And it is something that you must eat 7 days on the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Now that we have bakers and things amongst us, and just for the fun of it, learn how to bake bread yourself. I know some of the brothers and sisters, they started trying to do their own. Some of our batches turned out good. Some of it turned out bad. But hey, we were trying to do it. So at least if you don't get the matzah out from the store, at least make unleavened bread. And for 7 days, it is a must that each day you make sure that you get your leavened bread in. At this point, you may say, well, what's the significance of it? That's understandable because, hey, as I said before, I didn't fully understand it. But what I do understand is to say, you shall not or you must not eat any leaven for 7 days, and you must eat leaven for 7 days. So I just want everybody to be mindful to start not only preparing to get leaven out of your house, but also prepare to have the unleavened bread that's going to be needed, that you and your family will be able to eat your portion of unleavened bread on a daily basis for those 7 days that we're commanded to eat unleavened bread. All right. Verse 7, unleavened bread shall be eaten 7 days, and there shall no leavened bread be seen with you, neither shall there be leaven seen with you in all your quarters. And you shall show your son in that day, saying, this is done because of that which Yah did unto me when I came forth out of Egypt. So whether we fully or clearly understand it fully or not, the point is the Most High has set certain things in place in his word to call us to remembrance of a time in its appointed season every year. And when this time comes around, here's what you do. And you hold this discussion or this conversation with your children or your son when he asks you, what is this you're doing? What is this about? The reason why the feast of Yah has been lost and the reason why the world does not know their importance, because the command itself to teach them to your children has been omitted, and people have not been remaining and keeping them, nor do they understand the significance of what they represent. Again, Passover represents salvation. So when they were saved, the Most High, when they came out to worship the Most High, it's to come out to worship the Most High and to bring an offering unto the Most High. And as they came out, he told them, here is now another offering that I want. I want the firstborn. All the firstborn are mine. Give them to me. Dedicate them to me. Teach them what these customs are. Talk to your children about these customs. Tell them why. When Israel was in bondage, when their children was being killed, when Pharaoh refused to let them serve the Most High, the Most High had to deliver us and to bring us out. And he wanted us to remember by giving thanks by way of offering to him, our firstborn, whether animal and sons, and by giving the praise, honor, esteem, and discussing with our children these very things so that they will understand how to embrace the Most High. So they will understand how to love the Most High. And so they can also be thankful for the deliverance that the Most High has done on the behalf of their people and their forefathers. It says, verse 8 again, and thou shalt show your son in that day, saying, this is done because of that which Yah did unto me when I came forth out of Egypt. So specifically now, let's focus on this Ben, or this son. He already said the firstborn. I'm dedicating you to Yah. I need to explain all this stuff to you. Why? Because the Most High told me to dedicate you unto him for this reason, for this purpose. You might not have even been born had it not been for the Most High sparing us out of the land of Mitzrayim by killing the firstborn of Pharaoh. You weren't even supposed to have a life because they were killing male children. And the fact that I have a male son, hallelujah. They were killing the boys trying to keep y'all from being born. So now I'm doing this in remembrance, and I need you to know who the Father is so that you can make sure that you carry the house on and you continue to teach your sons after them when you have your household. So real quick, a quick Hebrew review, or just a little lesson for those that may be new to Hebrew. So the Most High, we have the Aleph Bet, the first two letters of the alphabet, or Aleph Bet. Aleph Bet is the word for Ab or Abba, which is father in Hebrew. Hebrew letters have a numerical value, and Hebrew letters also have a meaning. The letter itself has a pictorial or pictographic memory or meaning behind it also. So the Aleph represents an ox head, and which means a strong, a strength. So it's an ox head, and we know an ox was used for plowing fields, for pulling things. So when it's written in the pictographic Hebrew, it's written with an ox head. That's what an aleph would look like, but it's representing strength. Then you have the bet. The bet represents a house or something that's within. So the Most High, or a father, is the strength of the house. A Abba, or a father, is the strength of the house, just based on aleph bet. Abba. He's the strength of the house if you define it with the Hebrew characters. Then you have a son. A son is bet nun. Bet nun is going to be the letters that's going to be in son. The bet, again, is going to be house or within, okay? So it's going to be house or within. And then when you have the noon, a noon represents the productive system of the man, which is going to be the seed. So it represents the seed. So a son continues the house. So the father is the strength of a house, and a son is supposed to continue the house. So as the father instills into his children something, then his son, especially the firstborn, is supposed to make sure he's continuing the things that the father's placed into him, because he's supposed to continue and carry on his father's name and his legacy and pass it on to his children's children. And it keeps going on like that, and the house continues. That's why genealogy is important. That's the reason why when we get to Psalms 83, when it said they try to wipe you out from being a nation, they don't want you anymore in remembrance. They didn't want you to know your genealogy. They didn't want you to know your generations, because it's of utmost importance. That's how houses continue for its physical line. But then spiritually, there needs to be passed down the laws of Elohim from generation to generation. So already he's starting here, the family structure of how it needs to be when a family is giving thanks, and the importance that's on this firstborn son at this particular moment. And the why. Verse 9. And it shall be for a sign unto you upon thine hand, and for a memorial between thine eyes, that Yahuwah's law may be in your mouth. For with a strong hand have Yahuwah brought thee out of Egypt. I'm going to read that again. And it shall be for a sign or oath unto thee upon thine hand, and for a memorial, or something for you to remember between your eyes, that Yah's Torah may be in your mouth. For with a strong hand have Yah brought you out of Mitzrayim, out of Egypt. So Yah wants us to remember all these things. And it is supposed to be a sign, something for us to remember. Now, this sounds very familiar with Deuteronomy 6. When you read Deuteronomy 6 and it's telling you about a sign, and remember we started covering, I did a little touch on mark of the beast, so on and so forth. We see all throughout the scriptures that the Most High has been saying there needs to be a sign or a mark upon you. And the mark that's going to be upon us is the laws of Elohim. So we're doing this in remembrance. He wanted the firstborn to be dedicated unto him. I'm supposed to teach you this word. It's supposed to be for a sign unto you upon your hand, and for a memorial between thine eyes, that Yah's law may be in your mouth. Meaning what? If it's in your mouth, what are you doing? You're speaking the words of Elohim. You know the words of Elohim. That needs to be a part of your conversation. This does not need to be forgotten. The reason why it's forgotten is because Shaitan has slipped in and had us saying the laws are done away with. The Old Testament don't need to be read. And by doing so, the reason why we can't get this whole thing fixed, praise Yah for letting Ima give her testimony. When Ima Avadia said, it was this one little piece that I had in Rome that was not allowing me to complete the task at hand for it to work or function properly. And it made me reflect on Torah, and made me reflect on the word, how if I miss one little thing and I think I've got something together, I got it right, and I miss that one little thing, that's what happens now. The Most High is like, if y'all don't know his word, how are we going to function properly? Shaitan has came in and they've taken his word away from us, when the whole point when Yah brought us out of Mitzrayim was when you come out, you continually do these things so that you do not forget my law. It's supposed to be a sign for you between your eyes, on your forehead, on your hand, that my law may be in your mouth, that you keep my law in your heart. It should be in your mouth. You should speak of these things. You should know it's this abroad. You should remember this. Don't forget it. but Shaitan caused mankind to forget the feast of Elohim. Verse 10, you shall therefore keep this ordinance in his season from year to year. You should keep this in his season from year to year. So when we look at it from the Hebraic understanding of keep, the word there for keep is shamar. Shamar is H8104 in your concordance if anybody wants to look it up. And it says, probably to hedge about, that is to guard, generally to protect, to attend, to be circumspect. So when the Most High said, you should therefore keep this ordinance, you should hedge it about. You should protect it. You should be circumspect. You should be mindful of this ordinance in its season. We covered this in the very beginning of our feast day lesson. So the word there for season is H4150, H4150, which is Moed. Moed, which is an appointed time, appointed season. So you're to remember this ordinance or this statute in its season from year to year. So each year, you're to remember this in its season, in its appointed season, in its appointed time. You're to remember these things and you're to talk about it always in its season. But yet, the world is not talking about this because the world has been made to what? Forget this. But those who have been delivered, those that have been free, the way you have the value of these feast days and understanding the importance of them, we have to read the word and understand that this was a joyous occasion for Yisrael, or Yashra'Allah, whichever Hebrew dialect one is familiar with. This was a very joyous occasion because their deliverance, they cried out unto the Most High, and the Most High delivered them. And the Most High delivered them at midnight. I'll be touching on midnight in another lesson coming soon, Most High willing, but it's something that I want to focus on with that midnight. We won't go into that tonight, but there's something about midnight that I do want us to focus on. And I just want y'all to know that midnight, just for a little reference, and you get where I'm going later, but midnight is part of the darkest part of the night. It's when it's real good and dark. So he delivered them doing what? Darkness. And in short, before I go into the detailed lesson on it, to my brothers and sisters on this call, when you in your dark place, the Most High can deliver you, because the physical deliverance of the children of Israel happened in the dark of night. It happened at midnight, in the dark of night. So while you in a spiritual dark place, whenever something is coming for you, just remember our Father delivered Israel then out of that dark. He could deliver us out of whatever dark that we're in also. So just be mindful of that and be encouraged, Mr. Bakar. All right, verse 11. And it shall be when Yah shall bring you into the land, of the Canaanites, as he swore unto thee, to your fathers, and shall give it you, that you shall set apart unto Yah all that open in the matrix, and every firstling that cometh of a beast which thou hast, the males shall be Yah's. So when it's talking about the matrix, again, the matrix is another word for womb. So all that comes out of the womb, that is firstborn, or the firstlings, is going to be the firstborn, that cometh of beasts which thou hast, the males shall be Yah. So now it's just reiterating or going back into the point that the Yah said their mind. Now Moses let them know that, hey, remember, the firstborn of males and beasts is Yah. Whenever you get to this promised land that he's promised you, where these Hivites, Canaanites, Jebusites, and all those were, when you get to this land that flow with milk and honey, just understand that in this land, you are to offer the firstlings to the Most High. You're to make sure that your firstborn sons or males are dedicated to the Most High. 13, and every firstling of an ox thou shalt redeem with the lamb, and if thou wilt not redeem it, then thou shalt break his neck, and all the firstborn of man among your children shalt thou redeem. Before I go forward, that verse 13 and verse 13 only, what is someone getting out of verse 13 and verse 13 only? Read it over again and meditate on it. And it's not even about right or wrong answers. Just make your attempt of what you're getting. Anybody? Verse 13. Read it again and see what you're getting out of it. All right, Shashamar.
Kenny, I'll take a shot. Yeah, I think it's what it's saying basically, if you don't want to give, the firstborn, of the flock to the Most High, basically, you're not going to get it either. So he's saying break his neck because there's value in the firstborn. So if you're not going to give it to the Most High, you're not going to get it either. I yield.
All right. So if you don't want to, Shashamar saying if you don't want to give it, you're not supposed to have it either. Okay. You someone on the line, Shy. You someone on the line. Toda. Anybody else? Okay. Okay.
Well,
Go
Moreh,
ahead.
I had a good question. Does it have anything to do with kind of setting the stage up for how he's going to have you kind of redeem your firstborn of your own children? You think it has anything to do with that?
Yes, we're coming into the part about the redeeming them, Cain. So I'm focusing on the redeeming portion. Is something that I want to go into in just a moment too. Yes, Cain. Zakan Yaquab, I seen your hand.
Hallelujah. Yeah, Toda Moreh, I was gonna kind of go on the same line that Akoti Jim was going on. I see it as sort of like that the donkey is kind of like us, and for us to be redeemed, our children to be redeemed, we have to sacrifice a lamb in that place. I hope I came clear on that, but that's what I think you have to. The donkey is not good enough, and for you have to redeem. You have to keep that donkey from being. Don't give that donkey away. Replace it with the lamb. The lamb is acceptable.
So
and the acceptance of that is the same way the acceptance of your firstborn males is what I'm seeing.
Okay, so Akoti Jin and Zakan Yaquab is focusing on the redemption of our children. And Zakan Yaquab is saying the donkey is not worthy or not good enough, but you substitute it for that lamb. So now I just want to reference real quick before I go into and y'all are on point. Y'all on point where we going with this. But again, as Imam Vadia, hallelujah, I love it when the plan comes together. When you put that one little thing in wrong, you know what I'm saying? Or that one little thing we don't understand, it can make us not function properly. Or when we hear something written someplace else, we may comprehend it the wrong way. So when you jump to the book of Timothy, I'm just going to quote it right now. We know it's a common scripture in that people use to try to justify eating unclean things, because it says if you bless anything to be received with thanksgiving that you get from the Most High, and if you bless it, it's to be received with thanksgiving. When you go to the book of Timothy. And so they're using that to say you can eat unclean meats. However, as we've been covering about in our cultural portion, in our culture studies, that culturally, Israel would have never interpreted that the way we interpret it today, because they knew what was considered food and what wasn't food. So they would know that you can't bless and eat something that the Most High created unclean to be received as clean. As we went over last week in Shabbat chapter 12 about when you bring an offering to the Most High, and it was talking about the uncircumcised or the strangers, they couldn't make an offering to the Most High until they were circumcised and they were taught or they knew how to offer, because they can't bring an unclean offering to the Most High. So you can't bring an unclean offering to the Most High, nor can you eat any unclean food. Why am I going there trying to paint this big, long picture? Because if you can just understand just from the beginning of the book, which is the Torah and the instructions, he's now required all the firstborns be given unto you. Now he's getting a little bit more specific. He says, and every firstling of an ox thou shalt redeem with a lamb. And if you will not redeem it, then you shall break his neck, and all the firstborn of man among thy children shall thou redeem. So he's now saying, listen, Shashamar, you was sort of on it. And I know it's a little confusing, but you say, well, it ain't yours. So if you don't want to offer it, then it ain't yours. You slightly right. It wasn't that you don't want to offer it. You couldn't offer it. You can't offer an ox or a donkey. You can't offer that. It's not clean. I don't want that as an offering. That's not an offering, but it's still a firstborn. So everything of the Most High is to be received with thanksgiving, but that received don't mean to be eaten. There are some things like an ox is used for this, a donkey is used for that. But there's certain things that can only be used for the offering of the Most High. Some things are not classified as an offering, but it's still a firstborn. There's still some profit to this donkey that you have, but this donkey cannot be used for a sacrifice to the Most High. But at the same token, what I'm telling you is, but I still blessed you with that donkey. You still need that donkey for your fields. Now, I don't know that much about donkeys, but I know that just in some of the things that Elder Kenneth and all have shared with me about these donkeys and these animals, that while we are talking about trying to prepare certain things for its land and things like that, that if you want your sheep to be protected, put a donkey out there. Because a donkey will buck and kick and protect from other animals that will come. Them hooves, they will ward off things. So there's still a place for a donkey. A donkey is just not meant to be eaten. A donkey is not meant to be sacrificed to the Most High, because it's not for sacrifice, but it is still a blessing from the Most High because it still has a purpose. But still, when the Most High gives you an increase and that donkey is part of your first too, I want that, but not specifically that. I want you to now substitute in the place of that donkey that you're going to work your field with. Give me one of your lambs. And if you don't want to, as Shah Shamar said, and if you don't want to offer me a lamb in the place of that donkey, then break the donkey neck and put it to death, because you can't have it either. It's mine. So I don't really want you to kill the donkey. What I really want you to do is give me the lamb in the place of the donkey. That's redeeming. That's paying that debt. I still need these firstborns. That's the firstborn, as Zaki and Yaakov said, is not worthy of an offering to me. So put something worthy of giving me in the place of that donkey that I bless you with for the purpose and the function of what you need that donkey for. So here, as Akoti Jen was saying earlier on, he's preparing us to learn how to give our first fruits, how to offer. The reason why we offer, because if Yah didn't bless us and bring us out, if Yah didn't give, we would not be and we would not have. So a mindset of an ancient Israelite was, when giving thanks, they gave thanks with more than with their mouth and lip service. They gave thanks with action. Thanks with action is by the way you raise your children. Thanks with action is by the way you give that which the Most High requires you to give. And so you're now to redeem or put something in the place of that donkey. And if you do not want to give me a lamb, then that donkey don't belong to you. Break his neck. Because the firstborns are all mine, but I'm going to tell you what to bring, and I'm going to tell you what to substitute for the other firstborn I don't want you to bring. And if you don't bring that substitute, then you got to put them to death, because you won't have them either. Because there's a reason I brought you out of Mitzrayim. And you need to be ever so thankful and grateful and give the first to the Most High. So Mishpachah, right now, what I want us to focus on is we need to be trying our best to fight through these struggles that we're going through in the world and try to give the Most High the first of ourselves. We need to be fighting to give the Most High the best of ourselves. And I'm going to tell you, sometimes it is hard to do. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Sometimes it is hard to give the Most High the best of you, to give the Most High the first of you, because a lot of times if you realize how the world sucks up so much of your time and the responsibilities that you have, half the time you're asking the Most High to forgive you for something, or asking him for something, or thanking him for something after the fact that you should have already prayed him about, or you should have already gave him your best, but sometimes we're just too preoccupied. But what we're seeing here is the Most High wants us to be ever so mindful. At the forefront of our thoughts, we give him the first. So our first breath shall be praise to the Most High. Our first words in the morning should be praising the Most High. If you have a Ish or Isha, or your children the little ones that may be in the bed with, you can give them a Boker Tov, but I love you, and give praise unto the Most High. We have to give him our best. Because all he's done for us, the only thing he's ever asked from us is to put me first as I put you first. And we need to be laboring to get better at that. And I'm transparent. I'm still trying to master it myself. I don't have it all mastered. Sometimes I have my good streak, and then sometimes I have my shame moments. Like I just know this is not my best. And I don't take lessons personal the way other people take it personal, regardless of who the messenger is. When Elder Herman taught that lesson, may the Most High bless his memory, peace be upon him. When he taught that lesson about A student and C students, and he asked, what student are you? I felt he did that lesson specifically for me. You're doing a good work, but if you know you could be doing a better work, are you an A student doing C student work? And I think hit me like a ton of bricks. Because I know I'm an A student, but I know I'm doing C student work. And y'all know how it is. You get report cards, what? How many weeks y'all get report cards? Every 9 weeks in school, right? We need to start making sure we keep account of ourselves and start giving ourselves a scorecard or a report card. Because I might have been on the honor roll last month or the last quarter, but where am I at now? Have I dropped back down to being a C student? Have I got complacent? Am I giving the Most High my best? Am I giving the Most High my first? The Most High, from the very beginning, when he delivered them, he wanted their mindset or their hearts to be dedicated totally unto him, Shlikai. And so in doing so, you had to be so aware that all that you have, first of this, first of that, first of this, first of that, all this belongs to the Most High. Okay, I can't give him this because it's unclean. I can't give him that because it's unclean. So all of these things, I got to put a lamb in the place of or break their neck. That's making me mindful of offering my first into the Most High. So spiritually, we need to learn how to start giving the first to the Most High. Verse 13 once again. And every firstling of an ox thou shalt redeem with a lamb, and if thou wilt not redeem it, then you shall break his neck. And all the firstborn of man among your children shall you redeem. So now these firstborn sons, you're not going to offer it like you would do an animal, like when they're going to kill this animal and do it as a sacrifice. But he's saying now of these sons that I said that you're supposed to be redeemed, you're going to also redeem, and all the firstborn of man among your children shall you redeem. You redeem your children. So for every time you had a firstborn, if this is the firstborn son, for that firstborn son the Most High is giving you, there was an offering that was required for that firstborn. You redeem him by placing a lamb, giving the Most High thank you, Most High, for my Ben. Thank you for my firstborn son. Here's my offering that I'm going to redeem him from. I thank you for him, and be mindful. And the thing that we have to understand, and the thing I think most people have gotten out of the mindset of understanding is, everything that we are and everything that we have is because of the Most High. If we have children, sons or daughters, praise Yah. Give thanks to Yah for your firstborn. Give thanks to Yah for your second. Give thanks to Yah for all that he's done for you. But going back to the text, but these firstborn sons were special. They were set apart unto Yah because of what was going on with the males in Mitzrayim. And now he's delivered, and now he wants you to be mindful to offer unto me and acknowledge that you understand what I've done for you. "14. And it shall be when your son asketh you in time to come, saying, what is this? that thou shalt say unto him, by strength of hand, Yah brought us out from Mitzrayim or Egypt, from the house of bondage. And it came to pass when Pharaoh would hardly let us go, that Yah slew all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both the firstborn of man and the firstborn of beast. Therefore I sacrifice, or I offer to Yah all that openeth the womb of the matrix, being males, but all the firstborn of my children I redeem. So when your son like say, Abba, what is all this offering that we're doing right now? Why are you taking so many lambs to be offered? What is this all about? When your child inquires, said, because remember the story about, I told you about our forefather Moses, or when we was in the land, we were being whipped, beat, hung, killed, our wives are being lain with. That's the reason why Moses actually killed the Egyptian. When you read in some of the other writings, he was going out there messing with people's wives. Abomination. So we were going through all these things. The Most High told us to set this lamb up. He was going to come through the land that was killing our boys. He told us that at midnight he was going to pass over for us to put the blood on the doorpost, remain in the house. He was going to pass over at night, and he redeemed us. He saved us. And the only thing he requires is for us to give him thanks by doing what? Giving our firstborns back to him, because he gave you to me, or gave y'all to us. So therefore, because he slew the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both firstborn of man and the firstborn of beast, therefore I sacrifice to Yah all that open in the womb, all that open in the matrix, being male, but all the firstborn of my children, I redeem. So my firstborn children, I'm going to redeem. Hallelujah. Verse 16, and it shall be for a token upon thine hand, for frontlets between thine eyes, for by strength of hand, Yah brought us forth out of Egypt. And it came to pass when Pharaoh had let the people go, that Elohim led him not through the way of the land of the Philistines, although that was near. So basically he's letting us know that now when Yah did these things, now Pharaoh still was refusing to let us go. He sent his men after us. Sneak out one more, Mr. Go. Sneak out one moment, give me one moment. All right, sneak out, I'm back. All right, it says, and it came to pass when Pharaoh had let the people go, that Elohim led them not through the way of the land of the Philistines, although that was near. For Elohim said, lest peradventure the people repent when they see war and they return to Egypt. But Elohim led the people about through the way of the wilderness of the Red Sea, and the children of Israel went up harnessed out of the land of Mitzrayim. So now it's transitioning to the thought of, so now when the Most High did all this for us, he brought us out of the land of Mitzrayim, but he also led us a certain way, because it was a short way, but he took us the long way, because if we would have experienced the war, we would have seen those people that we were scared of, we would have turned and went back to Egypt. We would have turned and went back to Egypt. And that's not what the Most High wants. And so, Mishpachah, just be mindful that when we're purging from leaven and we're trying to live upright in the Most High, the adversary, as we covered last week, will be trying to slow you down. And more so than slow you down, he will be trying to stop you. He will be trying to discourage you. But just know that Yah bring you a certain way so that you should not be discouraged. There will be trials, there will be tribulations, but continue to push forward and don't let the adversary hunt you down or scare you off the path. And also, Samak, Tawazar, I'm speaking to myself, but I want to share this with y'all. Whenever you plan your day and you leave and you go someplace on time and you just on schedule and something holds you up, flat tire, whatever it is, and that little, can I get upset sometimes? I'm like, I'm gonna be late. I'm gonna just, Give Yah thanks for that. Because a lot of times it can be Yah trying to keep us from going a way that would discourage us or trying to hold us for a certain time. And just be thankful and give thanks in all things, because even here, Yah led Israel a certain way for a certain reason so they wouldn't experience certain things. So sometimes Yah can hinder our movement and our timing to keep us from going through something worse than what we may be going through at the present. And just be mindful of that, because that's something that I'm working on myself, of when something seems like it's not on time and I'm trying to be on time and I've done everything possible and I should be on time, but an accident or something's in the way, or vehicle won't start, whatever that thing is that happens, praise Yah even in that, because he might be trying to take you in another direction and you were going to go in one direction, but he may take you in another direction and switch the path of your day. So I'm going to drop that. Panakia, if you would, let's jump to the book of Numbers, chapter 11. Book of Numbers, chapter 11, and I want verses 1 through 5. So here's one of the things that I want to focus on. Mishpachah is not returning to Egypt and not returning to the ways of our forefathers when we were in the wilderness. Numbers chapter 11, verses 1 through 5. By Midbar, and Numbers chapter 11, verse 1 through 5.
And when the people complained, it displeased Yah, and Yah heard it. And his anger was kindled, and the fire of Yah burnt among them, and consumed them that were in the uttermost parts of the camp. And the people cried unto Moses, and when Moses prayed unto Yah, the fire was quenched. And he called the name of that place Taberah, because the fire of Yah burnt among them. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell unlusty. And the children of Israel also wept again and said, who should give us flesh to eat? We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks, and the onions and the garlic.
So we see here, so when you look at this, Yah has now delivered them. Yah has brought them out. And what's some of the first things that we see them doing in the wilderness, Mr. McKay, from what we just read from this verse? Yes, sir, Duty. What you say? So Duty said complaining. Yes, sir, son, they're complaining. They got right out in that wilderness and they were complaining. And Mr. McKay, complaining is something that's easy to sneak up on us. But just understand that we do not need to be complaining about anything that Yah is doing for us or that Yah has done for us. If it's not going the way that you thought it should go, just understand it's going the way that Yah says it should go. It says, when the people complained, it displeased Yah, and Yah heard it, and his anger was kindled, and the fire of Yah burnt among them and consumed them. So one thing Yah does not like is complaining. And especially when he's doing something for us and we're complaining about how we feel about the thing that Yah wants us to do, or how Yah has blessed us, but it does not seem to be the way we want it to be, and we complain about that, that's grounds to get yourself in trouble. But what makes us complain a lot of times, Mr. McKay, is when you drop down, it tells you that we remember the fish in verse 5. We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. So now they're remembering everything that they had in Egypt. But they're not calling to mind what Yah has done for them, the freedom from all of the hardships that it was going through in Egypt. They're only thinking about the food, the leavened mindset of the selfishness or the lust of them. They were thinking about those things, but why were they thinking about those things? Who was the people that was doing the murmuring and complaining? Anybody? Anybody don't take a crack at it? Who was the people doing the murmuring and complaining? Somebody help me out. Do I need to see the screen? All right, Shashamar. What you got, Adon?
I would say, Israel, the ones that got delivered. Yeah, I
Okay.
also thought about I believe it's Mishlei, chapter 18, verse 21, where it says, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit therefore. So I thought, that went perfect with this chapter. I yield.
Okay, so you said you believe Israel that was delivered. So that is partially true, but who so is what I'm looking for. Brother G, what you got?
Shalom. I would say those who wanted to go back to Egypt, those who were comfortable in that lifestyle, and pretty much those who were comfortable in that lifestyle of sin and the lust of their flesh.
For those who want to go back to Egypt, or those who have a lifestyle of sin and living in their flesh. Okay, that's what we got. Anybody else?
There was a mixed multitude that went out of Egypt.
What'd you say, Eva?
There was a mixed multitude. It wasn't just Hebrews that left out of Egypt.
Get it again.
There were Egyptians in the midst and other cultures that was in Egypt at the time that left with our ancestors.
Hallelujah. So that's why we say we need to read the scripture in context of what is all being stated. So now if we go back, as Iman just highlighted, hold on, just lost my screen for a second because I tried to pull the screen away. All right. Verse 4. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell a lusting, and the children of Israel also wept again and said, who shall give us flesh to eat? We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt. So now there's this mixed multitude that's out there with Israel. Israel complaining, everybody out there complaining about what they had in Mitzrayim and what they had in Egypt. So what I want us to be mindful of, Mr. Bakar, is stand faithful in Yah, be thankful to Yah, and do what Yah asks us to do. And I don't care who it is around you that's complaining. Don't get caught up in complaining with those who are complaining, because we are the type that spirit or that ruach can jump off on you. Somebody else will be complaining, then we be complaining. So be very careful, because we see here, they was out there in the camp complaining, but everybody's complaining and they're causing one another to complain. And that thing made Yah upset. The mixed multitude complaining, Israel complaining, and they're referencing back to Mitzrayim and what they can have in Mitzrayim, what they can eat. So that leavened mindset is going back to focusing on what they had someplace else or how it was better there food-wise, instead of still being thankful to the Most High. Adon Michael, yes, sir.
Shalom. I was just looking at the verse 5. That verse 5 in this translation, it might sound a little different, but when you were talking about how they were remembering the fish and all that they were eating in Egypt, I was just thinking about how a lot of the things that they were remembering, they had an odor to them anyway. The garlic, the onions, the leeks, all those things were like stink. I thought about just a stink smell to them. And then they went in verse 6, it says, but now our strength is dried up and there is nothing at all but this manna to look at in this translation I'm reading from. And then I began to think about Luke 4:4. It says, one does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yah. I yield.
Toda. So we're about to complete that, the time, what he's saying. So Canuck there real quick. He already read it, but read it one more time so we can tie all these thoughts together and move forward. So give me verse 6, which we didn't get to yet, but he already tied it in. Because I was trying to build to that point, but he already dropped down to it. So give me verse 6, Canuck.
But now our soul is dried away. There is nothing at all beside this manna before our eyes.
Let's just talk about verse 6. Verse 6 What do y'all get out of verse 6?
They are resenting what the Father has provided for them because they're remembering what they used to eat. I yield.
And we don't need any more than that. Ema, you hit it right on the head. This is what I want us to see. It's not that they're just complaining because they're starving. They're complaining about the blessing that Yah gave them. And when we have leavened hearts, that's what we do. When we do not renew our hearts, when we do not renew our minds, we sit right here at our Father's being good to us, and we sit here and be complaining. They weren't just complaining, oh, we hungry, we hungry. All we got is this manna that's before us, before our eyes. This is all we got. Wasn't satisfied, wasn't happy. What you got, Bro G?
I was gonna say I can attest to that because as soon as I came into this truth, I pretty much gave up, about, I don't know, 75% of the things we ain't supposed to do, but I still want to hang on to that 25%. So I caught myself complaining as well. So I yield.
Hallelujah. Thanks for your being transparent. Because as I said, complaining is easy for us to slip into, but thank you for sharing. And that's the thing. Like we come in and we do convert, but man, we still be complaining about things. But the thing that causes us to complain about things is the fact that we still have a little leaven or that percentage of that portion that we're still holding on to. And that's why when you focus on a little leaven's a whole lump, that little thought of how something was, instead of thinking about how great is our Yah, you think about how good this was and we had this and we had that. You're not even satisfied with what the Most High has blessed you with. Not even focusing on the deliverance that he's done, spared the firstborn. Now we're just complaining because it's not exactly what I want, or I'm tired of eating this every day. Let's drop that. I'm about to get to a closing point for the night and open the floor. So let's jump to the book of Yahuchanan, chapter 6. Yahuchanan, commonly called John. Or we can say Yohanan, chapter 6. And we're going to start right at verse 31. Yohanan or John, Yachanan, chapter 6, Kanakya, start with verse 31.
Our fathers did eat manna in the desert, as it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat. Then Yahushua said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, Moses gave you not that bread from heaven, but my Father giveth you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of Elohim is he which cometh down from heaven and giveth life unto the world. Then said they unto him, Master, evermore, give us this bread. And Yahushua said unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst.
Okay, so now we just read about them complaining about the manna, but they wasn't even understanding the significance of the manna. They didn't even know what it was going to be representing or pointing to. It says, our fathers did eat manna in the desert, as it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat. So we're complaining about what we had in Egypt, but we actually being fed from Elohim or from God in the wilderness, eating the bread that's been sent down from the Shemayim, because we know how it said that the manna fell down and the quail came up. So the Most High was feeding us. And he's taking time to treat us as children and provide for us. And we are only considering what we had in Mitzrayim. It says, then Yahushua said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, Moses gave you not that bread from heaven, but my Father giveth you the true bread from heaven. So even though this was the bread from heaven, now what I want you to understand is now the true bread from heaven is now coming to you, which my Father giveth you the bread from heaven. For the bread of Elohim is he which cometh down from Shemayim and giveth life unto the world. Then said they unto him, Master, or Adonai, evermore give us this bread. Yahushua said unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger. He that believeth on me shall never thirst. So he's referred to himself as the bread of life. I am the bread of life. So now this is now not physical in consumption, what he wants us to really focus on. He's now wanting us to focus mentally on what's being said here. The Most High has sent me to show y'all how to walk upright, how to be righteous, how to return to the Father. My name is Yahushua, which is Yah is salvation. Yah sent me to deliver you from your sin. I am the bread of life. So when you read in the Torah or the Tanakh, it said, eat this roll. So the eating, just like in the Garden of Eden, the Garden of Eden, in the book of Isaiah, when it said, eat this roll, and here when it's saying he's the bread of life, eating is not always associated with actually putting food in your mouth. Eating is also what you mentally intake. So you need to understand that I am the bread of life. I am the truth that has been sent here to show y'all how to return to the Father. And you, if you come to me, you will never hunger, and he that believe on me shall never thirst again. So he said, I'm the bread that actually was going to come down from the Shemayim. So yes, the manna was bread from heaven, but this is something that's pointing to something else. I had to come down here to show y'all the true way to keep Torah. I had to show y'all how to love the Most High, how to remain in Yah, how to get leaven out of yourself so that you can be filled with his Ruach, how to love father and mother, how to love your wife, how to love one another. I'm the bread of life. And I do know we have some that would hang up on a call because some are not accepting of Mashiach. But he came to drop wisdom and to magnify Torah. He came to show us the Ruach that we're supposed to walk in. And he also helped us to understand some of the things that had happened already in the Torah and the Tanakh from a spiritual aspect. That's why, as we'll be covering tomorrow, I'll be focusing on parables tomorrow. So I'll be focusing on parables, but that's the reason why they spoke in parables. So some things are spoken in the parable for us to understand, as I said before, the spiritual content that Yah wants us to see. So Mishpachah, let us purge ourselves of old leaven, because the little leaven leavens the whole lump. That little leaven is why we hold on to complaint. That little leaven is the reason why we will not embrace the Most High as we should, because we're holding on to stuff that we need to be purging ourselves of. Let us continue to purge as we're leading up into Passover so that we can receive that which the Most High has for us to receive. Let us learn to offer our best to the Most High, our first to the Most High. Let us remember what the Most High has done for our forefathers. Let us remember what the Most High has done for us, and let us give thanks. And let's give thanks to the Most High with the best of us. And with that, I pray and I hope everyone got some wisdom, some knowledge, and some understanding. I hope that the word has been encouraging. I hear the baby in the back making noise, so I guess it encouraged her. Hallelujah. So with that, I'm going to yield at this point. I'm going to open the floor now to the elders first, if there's any words that y'all would like to share. But again, I hope it's been well edified and well received. And I hope that it's been more so than anything encouraging, that understanding that when Yah does something for us, we owe him our first. We owe him our best. We owe him our praise. It's not that he's charging us anything, but if someone does what Yah's done and we see what he's done for Israel, we see what he required, what's different for us today? We should still be giving Yah our first. We should be giving Yah our best. And we should be giving thanks to the Most High and remembering what he's done for us, what he will do for us, and teaching it to our Yaladim and our children, and making sure that we're dedicating our children unto the Most High. All praise to the Most High. Barak his Kodash name. I now yield to the imams and elders.
Shabbat Shalom again. I just want to say it was a total study, and oftentimes I find that I can be like Israel was. Y'all deliver me from something. And when I'm faced with another tribulation or situation, I forget how he delivered me previously, what have you. But it was a very tough study, very tough study.
All praise, honesty be to the Most High. All praise, honesty be to the Most High. I told that Imam. Imam Newkirk, the floor is yours.
Praise Yah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I told lesson. I thank you for encouraging us to put him first and not be in our selfish way. And it was a real told lesson.
Bless his Kodash name, bless his Kodash name. Toda for your words, Imam. Toda for your words. Imam Shoshana, the floor is yours, Imam.
Hallelujah. Truly, it was a told word. It's also put me in remembrance when we go through things and experiencing things, there's a reason for everything that we go through. As it says in the word, there's a reason for everything under the sun. So I look at it and I ask the Father, okay, what am I to learn in this? What am I to understand in this? Show me what I need to know. If I've erred, or if you're trying to show me something specific, if it's physical, is it spiritual? What is it? So yes, everything that happens, it's for a reason. And I'm thankful that we remember to put the Father first in the mornings. And that's what I do every morning. I always say, good morning. If it's Shabbat, I say Shabbat to them in the morning. So hallelujah for this told word and remembrance of always to put the Father first. Hallelujah.
All praise, honor, esteem to the Most High. Thank you for your words of wisdom, Imam. Thank you for you sharing. Praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah. And Mishpachah, I will say, as we read in the during the time for Hanukkah, about it said they fought for their lives and their laws. They fought for the Torah. And what I would like to encourage is that we fight for our salvation. We fight for the laws of Yah, because every now and then, you got to fight through certain distractions and things, but fight for your salvation. Sometimes, like you said, as I was saying, if we grade ourselves, sometimes we're A students in Yah, and then sometimes we're just not giving them our best. And it's for us to be able to know when we're not, and to get back to that point of trying to get our scorecard back high in Yah. So thank you, Imam Shoshana, for that. And just start knowing that when Yah's taking us through whatever, ask him to reveal to you what season it is, or what are you to learn from it. So hallelujah. All right, elders, do y'all have any words? King Yaquab.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I don't want to jump in front of nobody. Moreh, I didn't see another hand up. Hallelujah. Toe blessing, a whole lot that I personally got from this message. And I like the way you broke down that verse about the sacrifice. Well, not the sacrifice, but the redeeming of the firstborn. I did. I struggled with that a lot. Like, is there a point at some point, if I didn't do something right, breaking the neck, like you break the neck of that donkey. But I mean, I'm clear on that, but I like the way you broke that down, how the way the Most High, I don't want this, but in substitute, you still, and like you said, you don't like to use that word, but you still owe me for something. You know what I mean? And because that donkey is not really what I want, for it's not acceptable to me. I want you to replace it with something that is acceptable, and that is the same way, so that you don't have to, at one point, I'm pretty sure you'll get to it, but I think it's also in the book of Numbers, what we dedicate to the Most High. And if we dedicate one of our children to the Levitical priesthood, that there was a way that you could redeem that person back, and so you kind of brought all of that into perspective for me personally. And the other thing too is I was noticing the appreciation, not recognizing the blessing, just recognizing your what you don't have. You know what I mean? And I think when they came up out of Mitzrayim, the mixed multitude and us, the ones that were really complaining didn't really recognize the deliverance that they got. They didn't recognize that blessing. They just was thinking about what they didn't have, or what they may have to give up, and I think we fall into that trap a lot, and not even really recognizing it, that wait a minute, in what I feel uncomfortable about, let me find the blessing in that first. You know what I mean? Let me find the blessing in that, what I'm uncomfortable about, because I think a lot of times we kind of miss that. We kind of, we got blessed, but we kind of focusing in on what we're uncomfortable about, And the last thing is I'm starting to recognize what our culture considers precious, heirloom, worthy of being passed down. It's not, and most of it is nothing physical. It's nothing tangible. It's these law, statutes, and commandments. It's the remembering what the Most High done for us. That is precious and what needs to be handed down as an heirloom, as an inheritance. In our culture, the substance can go away, but it's that appreciation. It's that who our Abba is, and what he does for us is precious and needs to be passed down generation to generation. And like you said, the way you broke down the Abba and the Ben, that he set that system up so that memorialization could continue to go. That's generational continuity is the way I see it. So Tob blessing, a whole lot of nuggets I got out of that, Moreh. Toda, hallelujah.
Toda to use I came for your highlights. And I like what you said about precious and what should be precious to us. And what should be precious to us is the word of Elohim, his Torah, his instructions, and the relationship with him. And that's what we should be passing down, like should really be precious to us. And I like how you put that. And praise the Most High for you sharing all that you shared, Zakim. All praise, honor, esteem to the Most High. And I like also earlier when you were answering the question about the As being redeemed, and you associated with, you feel like that donkey could be Israel, and we not definitely worthy. Sometimes we can be a little donkey. You know what I'm saying? And the point is, if we know we're supposed to be offering and bringing ourselves before the Most High, then if we are not clean, if our minds are not set apart to him, then we need to substitute who we are now with the right offering to bring to the Most High, meaning whatever leaven is in us that has us being a donkey, we need to get that out so that we can be able to be accepted of the Most High. So I thank you for actually putting that in there, because a lot of the times we want to appear before the Most High, and the Most High don't even want to see us, I'm just saying Israel as a whole. And sometimes the way people come that's not trying to change anything about themselves, but want to be all in the Creator's face, So so the same way that had to be redeemed, we need to make sure that we are actually able to come before our Creator. So total for your words, total for your words. All right, at this time, I didn't see, hold on, there's a lot of people online. Abadal, did you have any word? I believe it's Abadal. Didn't I see Abadal name on that one time? Where did it go?
He wasn't. He's still here.
Oh, he's here? Okay.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Huh?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, Moreh. Shabbat shalom, mishpachah. Yes, it's agree 100% with everything Sakin Yakwa is saying, and also his taught lesson. So, but what make me think and keeping by myself tonight is the word sanctified. And sometimes, yes, we talking about ourselves. We supposed to be in that process the sanctified our life to please the Most High. But sometimes we forget our first goal is first of all be in that position of the firstborn, and the other one is, as Moshe said to Israel, he wasn't talking with the firstborn. He was talking with the fathers. He was talking with the adults that they supposed to train. Because I love it when you break the word kodash. That's a consecrate, sanctify, prepare, dedicate. So it's mean if we as a fathers are struggling sometime, because first of all, because we don't want to deny ourselves to follow 100% what the instruction of the sanctification means, you know what I mean? Because if I don't remember bad, Messiah say, deny yourself, take your cross and follow me. And that's all the process of sanctification is denying ourselves. And when we deny ourselves to Yah, then we teaching our children how to be prepared, how to be dedicated, how to be sanctified, separate from the Most High. And that's what I see. One of the part I see tonight that touched me, because we are calling, the Most High is calling us to prepare that firstborn. To prepare that firstborn, but the first one is have to be us, because as a father, he teach us. He is teaching us now. He give you the guy, he give you Messiah, he give it all. He give it all just to try to show us how to be ready. And I praise the Most High Adon for this lesson and tall lesson, Moreh, tall lesson. Praise the Most High. Shabbat shalom.
Yeah, Toda for your words of wisdom, Adon. Toda for your words of wisdom. And like I said, is the fathers, we do have to really step our game up before our families. And just for everyone on the line tonight, you do know that Israel was called the firstborn. You know what I'm saying? So we as a nation, you know what I'm saying, we really need to be dedicated to the Most High. And as Abadal said, we really got to work and push to really be dedicated to the Most High, to set that example. And tying in what him and both Zaken Yaquab said, the fact that what we desire, like we should have we should reference Yah's words so much, have such a desire towards it that, you know, and we have an honor and a respect for it and be dedicated to it. And like I said, we have to sometimes fight for our dedication, fight to give our all, but let's continue to push through and fight through, because I know sometimes hindrances do come, but let us all, please, let's try our best to dedicate to the Most High. All right, at this point, I'm not going to open the floor for a few moments. Does anyone have any words before we get ready to close out? I'm opening the floor just in general to all. Does anyone else that have any words they would like to share before we get ready to close out? And while I'm waiting, in case any hands go up, to all who participated tonight, Total Rabbi, for you being bold enough to at least answer the questions to the best of your ability. Ima Amelia, Bro G, I seen your messages in the chat. Total Rabbi, for your words. All praise, honor, esteem be to the Most High. May the Most High name be esteemed. Hallelujah. All right, does anyone else have anything before we get ready to close out? Yes, sir. Don Shaw.
Ken, yeah, I just want to, say, all praise to the Most High for allowing you to bring out the lesson, and also everyone else bring out their points. I definitely learned a lot. One thing I took from the lesson was, the part in Numbers about, Numbers chapter 13 about, giving the firstborn, to the Most High. And I was thinking about, like you said, giving more of our time, our spiritual selves to the Most High. Because when I wake up in the morning, I do, give praise to the Most High, and I try, to meditate on a precept or two. But one goal that I'm, I'm fighting for is, to get an hour or two, or hour or more of studying in before I start work or anything for the day. So, that's my goal, right now. So, all praise to the Most High, for this lesson, definitely, gives me wisdom and strength to improve. Toda.
Toda for your words, Adonai. May the Most High continue to increase in you, and may He grant you with the ability to have that time as you want to give them to Him. And I hope He grants us all that time to be able to get in and give Him those hours that we want to give Him without distraction. So praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah. All right. Is there anyone else before we get ready to close out? All right, Mr. McCall, I'm gonna go on record now telling you tonight, just think through your thoughts, look at yourself, look at your heart, start writing down things. And like I said, as I was saying earlier, let's start keeping a scorecard. Are we growing? Am I growing? Just ask yourself, am I growing? And if not, why not? And when asking the why not, a lot of times you know the answer to the why not. So why aren't you getting over that hurdle of the why not? Like, ask those things, and tomorrow after the service or during the service, I have a question that I'm going to ask. So, and when I ask the question, that's why I say tonight, while you're in the rest of your meditation, before you go down and go to sleep, your prayers, whatever you do, just do a self-examination of yourself. And I have a question I'm going to ask tomorrow that I'll be presenting during the lesson. So do a self-examination, and I'll ask that question tomorrow. So with that, is there no other hands? There's no one else that want to say anything. We give all praise, honor, esteem to the Most High Yah. Barak is Kodash name, bless His holy name. Sar Yohanan, I will now yield the floor to you, Adon. If you would do the closing tefillah.
Kane, Adon. And for our tefillah, I got a couple of announcements. One, if you plan on staying in the cabinets, we'll need your names. Submit your names into our group chat so we can have a count who is going to be staying in the cabinets. So we're going to need that in the next couple of days. So if you plan on staying in the cabinets, please submit your names in the chat so we can get a count of it. Also put on your calendar, April 1st, we're getting some stuff in place. We came up with a budget, but we'll put the information out in the chat for the food and supplies for Pesach. But we plan on collecting all the funds by April 1st. So we'll put all that in the chat. So just look out for that. And that's all I had. If anybody don't have anything to add, Adon, for our prayer out.
Lord, call to.
I just wanted to put it out too, that remember how the website was up for last Sukkot. We're updating that website now for the Moedim for this year coming up. So be on the lookout for those messages for the updated information. It's got spreadsheets and all that stuff, so you can jot in your name and how many and stuff like that, like we use for Sukkot. We're updating that website now.
Toda's okay.
Todas, I can. I will post that in the chats once we get the link together for that. Hallelujah. Let's clear our minds. Clear our minds for the Most High, as we about to call it a night. Hallelujah. 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 We want to say Toda Yah for bringing us into another Shabbat, Abba. As you have put your Ruach into the Moreh, Abba. As he had put out the lesson today, Abba. Abba Yah. We didn't want to say Toda Yah. As your children, who you know how to gather, Abba, because you gather us, Abba, through your Ruach, to your spirit, Abba. You have brought us into community with you in a wonderful way, Abba. In the midst of this world, Abba, full of things that are against your will, Abba. Because, Abba, you know your children, Abba. You know us. You know our heart. You know our spirit. And we petition, Abba, to continue leading us in community with you, Abba, our Elohim, our Almighty King. You comfort us, Abba. You give us strength of faith, Abba, in confidence in your rulership, in your kingdom, which will prevail over everything evil that still seems to control some of the stuff that's going on in this world, Abba, that surround us, Abba. But your dominion and your rulership, Abba, reaches far, far behind, Abba. Nothing could combat your rulership, Abba. Nothing can destroy your rulership, Abba. No one and nothing is mightier than you, Almighty Yah. Because we trust in you, Abba, your children. We want to say Toda Yah for your continued love and mercies that you continue giving your children, Abba. We appreciate every day that you wake us up to see another day, Abba, to get it right with you, Abba. We appreciate you, Abba. Even, Abba, when we go to lay our head down for the night, Abba, we appreciate the rest, Abba. And Abba, just ask you to protect your children. If the adversary attacking your children's spirit, mind, and soul, Abba, protect your children, Abba. Keep them strong in you, Abba, because you are our great defense. Toda Yah. Abba, we could give you all the thanks and praise, but like our wise shepherds out there said, we have to put this into action, Abba. Words without action is just words, Abba. Just like an old saying, Abba, we talk the talk, we have to walk the walk, Abba. So let your children continue walking that walk and not just talking the talk, Abba. Because we waiting for the great day of our Elohim prevail over this earth, Abba, and cleanse this earth, Abba. So we can, all your children just can have shalom. We love you, Abba. We serve you. We honor you, Almighty Yah. And we esteem your name. May Yahuwah bless you and keep you. May Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon you and give you shalom. Blessed be you, Yahuwah Elohim. Blessed be the name Yahuwah Elohim. And blessed who come in the name Yahuwah Elohim. And everybody on the line say hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. I'm going to say Lila Tov, which is good night, Ahaba, and Shabbat Shalom. I love you all. Shabbat Shalom. Look forward to the AM. Shalom.